The year 1840 marked a significant turning point in New Zealand's history. It was a time of great change and transformation, as the British Crown sought to formalize its relationship with the indigenous Māori people. This period was characterized by a mix of hope, tension, and uncertainty, as two cultures came together to forge a new path forward. This was the year the Treaty of Waitangi was signed, a pivotal event that would shape the future of the nation. The signing took place on February 6, 1840, at Waitangi in the Bay of Islands. This momentous occasion brought together representatives of the British Crown and various Maori chiefs from different IWI, or tribes. This treaty was an agreement between the British Crown and Maori chiefs. It was intended to establish a framework for governance and cooperation, recognizing the authority of the British Crown, while also acknowledging the rights and sovereignty of the Maori people. The treaty was seen as a way to bring order and stability to the region, which had been experiencing increasing conflict and unrest. It aimed to establish British sovereignty while recognizing Maori land rights. The treaty included three main articles: the first ceded sovereignty to the British Crown, the second guaranteed Maori full possession of their lands, forests, fisheries, and other properties, and the third extended to Maori the rights and privileges of British subjects. The treaty had a profound impact on the future of New Zealand. It laid the groundwork for British colonization and the shaping of a new nation. The arrival of British settlers brought significant changes to the social, economic, and political landscape of New Zealand, leading to the development of new towns and settlements. It laid the groundwork for British colonization and the shaping of a new nation. The influx of settlers led to the establishment of new communities and the introduction of British laws and institutions. This period of colonization was marked by both cooperation and conflict, as the British and Maori navigated their new relationship. The Treaty of Waitangi is a complex document with interpretations that are still debated today. The differing versions of the treaty, one in English and one in Maori, have led to varying understandings of its terms and intentions. These differences have been the source of much discussion and analysis over the years. It was written in English and translated into Maori. However, the translation was not perfect, and some key concepts were interpreted differently by the two parties. This has led to misunderstandings and differing views on its meaning, particularly regarding issues of sovereignty and land ownership. This led to misunderstandings and differing views on its meaning. The Maori chiefs believed they were retaining their chieftainship and control over their lands, while the British saw the treaty as a means to assert their sovereignty over New Zealand. These conflicting interpretations have had lasting repercussions on the relationship between Maori and the government. The treaty has become a founding document of New Zealand. It is celebrated annually on Waitangi Day, a national holiday that commemorates the signing of the treaty. This day serves as a reminder of the ongoing journey towards understanding and reconciliation between Maori and non-Maori New Zealanders. It continues to shape the relationship between Maori, the indigenous people, and the government. The treaty is often referenced in legal and political discussions, and it plays a crucial role in contemporary debates about Maori rights and land claims. It is a living document that continues to influence New Zealand's society and governance. The signing of the treaty opened the doors to large-scale British settlement. This influx of settlers brought about significant changes to the landscape and demographics of New Zealand. The new arrivals established farms, businesses, and infrastructure, contributing to the growth and development of the young colony. It also established a framework for governance. The treaty provided a basis for the establishment of British law and order in New Zealand, leading to the creation of governmental institutions and the development of a legal system. This framework has evolved over time, but the principles laid out in the treaty continue to underpin New Zealand's governance. However, it also sowed the seeds of conflict. The differing interpretations of the treaty, particularly regarding land ownership and sovereignty, led to disputes and tensions between Maori and British settlers. These conflicts sometimes erupted into violence, leaving a legacy of mistrust and grievance that persists to this day. Differing interpretations of the treaty, particularly regarding land ownership, would have lasting repercussions. The land disputes that arose from these differing views have had a profound impact on Maori communities, leading to loss of land and resources. These issues continue to be addressed through legal and political processes, as New Zealand seeks to reconcile its past with its present. The Treaty of Waitangi remains a cornerstone of New Zealand's identity and a symbol of the complexities of its colonial past. It is a testament to the enduring relationship between Maori and the Crown, and it serves as a foundation for ongoing efforts to build a more just and equitable society. The treaty's legacy is a reminder of the importance of dialogue, understanding, and respect in shaping the future of New Zealand. Like and subscribe to Emgotvhistory Warfare for more stories. Following the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi, a pivotal moment in New Zealand's history, the stage was set for significant changes in the land's demographic and cultural landscape. A wave of British settlers began to arrive in New Zealand, driven by the allure of new opportunities and the promise of fertile land. These settlers, often coming from crowded and industrialized cities in Britain, saw New Zealand as a land of potential and prosperity. They were drawn by the promise of land and new opportunities. These early settlements, primarily established in coastal areas, were marked by a growing demand for land. Settlers quickly began to establish European-style houses and farms, transforming the coastal landscapes into bustling communities. This demand led to increasing tensions with Maori, who sought to protect their ancestral territories. The Maori had a deep-rooted connection to their land, viewing it not just as a resource, but as a vital part of their identity and heritage. Land became a point of contention between Maori and settlers. The settlers, with their European perspective, often saw land as a commodity to be bought, sold, and exploited for economic gain. This clashed with the Maori worldview, where land was a taonga, a treasured possession, integral to their way of life. The settlers often viewed land as a commodity to be bought and sold. They conducted land surveys, marked boundaries, and held auctions, all practices that were foreign and often incomprehensible to the Maori. Maori, on the other hand, had a deep spiritual and cultural connection to their land. They performed traditional rituals to honor their ancestors and the land itself, which was seen as a living entity with its own mana, or spiritual power. They saw it as a taonga, a treasured possession, passed down through generations. This profound connection to the land was reflected in their customs, stories, and daily lives, making the concept of selling land deeply troubling and often unacceptable. These differing perspectives on land ownership would have significant consequences. The settlers' relentless pursuit of land led to numerous disputes, as Maori communities resisted the encroachment on their territories. The increasing pressure on land led to disputes and eventually to armed conflict. These conflicts were not just about land, but about the survival of a way of life, the preservation of culture, and the assertion of sovereignty. The New Zealand Wars, a series of conflicts between Maori and the colonial government, would come to define much of the mid-19th century. These wars were marked by fierce battles, strategic maneuvers, and significant loss on both sides. These wars were a tragic consequence of the misunderstandings and broken promises that followed the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi. The treaty, intended to establish a framework for coexistence, instead became a source of conflict and mistrust. The conflicts had a devastating impact on Maori communities, leading to loss of land, lives, and traditional ways of life. Entire villages were destroyed, and many Maori were displaced, their ancestral lands taken over by settlers. Despite these hardships, the resilience of the Maori people has endured. Efforts to rebuild and revive their culture continue to this day, honoring the legacy of their ancestors and preserving their rich heritage for future generations.